Hello everybody and welcome to another stream from Frog Lane Studio. So today we're going to be looking at how to do scroll work and also purity seals as well. So I've got a couple of little tips and tricks for us to try. I'm hoping the audio and everything is a-okay for us. Wife, can we have a bit of a sound check, please? Is a-okay for us? Sounds good to me. Let me just get set up with my screen so I can see you guys as well.
Hi, Key.
Yo, Keith, how's it going?
My wee loves.
How are we all doing? Mr. and Mrs. Ritz, welcome in. There we go. I've got you guys up and I can see chat as well, which is all fine and dandy. Ooh, let's get that sorted there. Hey, hey, Mrs. Ritz. Right, fun and games. So, I've got my camera. Blimey. It's a bit weird to be back in the driver's seat here. So I'm just going to get a couple of paints sorted as well for us whilst we wait for others. What is good, Pocket Nova? Yes, my man. How's it going? So we're going to be doing scroll work and also purity seals on here today. So I've got a couple of paints. We're just going to wait for a couple of others to get in. Everybody who's in the chat, make yourselves known. Say hi. Took a while for you to say you were live on YouTube. Yes, my apologies. Good to see you. I'm here, man. This is me in the flesh. Right. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to run through the paints and stuff I'm going to be using as well. And I want that one as well. Ooh, excuse me. Okay.
Yo, Jay.
Howdy, Jay. How's it going, my man? All right. Let's get this one as well.
Hey, Nova, you alright? How's your weekend? How's everyone's weekend's been?
So
Bank holiday Monday here in the UK, but it's just like every other day.
Every other day, yeah, indeedy so. I almost ran over Mrs. Frog's foot again. That would have been bad. Same time last week. My God. So here we go. I've got here my setup for my Indomitus Lieutenant. This guy is. So obviously he's got his gun arm there, and then he's got his other arm here that holds the shield, and then the actual shield itself. So I've gone ahead and painted some of these up. He will end up getting finalised, I promise. Yes, Hunter, welcome in. Welcome to the chat. So we're going to be doing some close-up work. I'm just trying to see. The camera should be picking that up. Okay, good.
Hi, Anna.
Right, so...
Syndrome, hi.
Syndrome, yes, buddy. Oh, not a problem at all, Syndrome. Not a problem, matey. When it comes to doing scroll work, I've got a couple of options that I use, and I tend to alter between the two depending on what we're going to need. So I've got here my contrast and also the base as well. I have the null oil, but I don't generally tend to use that. What I do use more than anything else is this. This is a product called Distress Ink, and it's designed for vintage photos, but it's basically a dark brown ink. This is what I tend to use more than anything else. I'm going to show you these two anyway, because this is what I used to use before I discovered that. So I need someone to decide whether I should paint my... Oh, Hunter, that's an easy one. Go for your Night Lord's Commander.
Hi, Jeans.
Yes, Jeans, you all right, my man? Right, okay, so let's start off with these two. Now, when it comes to doing the scroll work, if you just use contrast paints, what generally tends to happen on this, I'm going to show you. So this is just purely using contrast paints. Obviously, these have a lot of pigment, and they have a decent amount of viscosity. But in terms of the transparency that still shows through when we're doing this, what you end up having is it tends to be quite grey. I don't know whether the camera's picking that up. Let me just alter the camera ever so slightly. Because I need that to focus. Apologies whilst I just set this up. We're at maximum focus on there. It's going the wrong way.
Jeans is waiting on your commission to arrive.
Is it still not arrived yet, buddy?
It's arriving today, apparently.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, good, good, good. Well, that's well worth being in for. Let me try and make this as big as possible, or a little bigger for us to all see. There we go. Okay, so what you can use Black Templars by all means, the Black Templar contrast, but what tends to happen with this is it's not a pure black. So we'll choose somebody's name on this in a second to put on. But let's go with his shoulder pad here. And we'll call this guy Micah. And I'll come on to choosing the letters in a second. Or Micah, maybe. So when you're laying out the letters, you want to lay out the letters in the center. You want to work from the center out. So you want to have an idea of what you're calling this person before you're putting those on. And it's a case of then transcribing that to leave. You don't want to run out of space on the model itself. So we're going to add our I next. And I'm using a 000 paintbrush here to get as thin and crisp a point as possible. And you're just trying to go for one hit on here. And this is why this might not necessarily be the best paint to use when we're doing it. Obviously, I'm doing it anyway to show you. So we're going for the M next.
Ryan says the name should be Bob, but that's the hairdryer.
Yeah, that's the hairdryer.
We'll have two Bobs.
So when we're putting this down, with the names, you want to have between 5 to 7, either 5 letters or 7 letters. The reason is because if you have the shorter the name, obviously the shorter it takes up on the shoulder pad, and the shoulder pads in general tend to be quite long. So between 5 and 7. So with ultramarines, obviously you've got like ultra, or things like Nico and that sort of thing. Like 4 is a minimum. 4 to 7 letters. Anything else, anything longer than that is going to be too difficult to transcribe onto the scribe. Keith was thinking Sebastian just to make me work for it. Well, I'll come on to letters in a second.
There's a lot of rounded things there.
Yeah.
We know that Mr. Frog likes straight edges.
So with this, let's just put the A and the N on. Now, the reason why I'm choosing straight lines, as you can probably guess, circular letters are extremely hard to do. I've lost the point on the brush.
Hi, Venom.
Yes, Venom, how's it going? We'll go for Michael instead. M-I-K-L. And I've already gone ahead and messed up on that L. If that does happen, let's show you this, and then I'm going to go back to choosing letters. Excuse me. So I've got my my pot of bone colour ready to go. And this is just for covering up the mistakes. So you're not going to be able to hit this straight away each and every time. So I'm just going to paint that over. Leave that to dry, and then come back in with the contrast here. There we go.
Wow, that light is really showing up your grey hair, Mr. Frog.
Oh, I know. I've got a lot of grey hair. Wow, that really is.
Looks even greyer than IRL. Got me saying IRL.
Okay. So there we go. This guy's now called Michael, Mikal.
Question from Ben.
A little hard to pick up on there. Would you recommend painting the parts on its package borders?
I think he means it's...
Yes, yeah, I would, most definitely. So the reason for that, Chris, is with finicky and fiddly models, you want to try and get as much ease of access to the model. So when the model is all put together, it can be quite difficult, if you can see here, to like fetch into the detail. So if I grab another model, here we go. So this guy here that we were doing the purity seal. So the purity seals here are nice and easy to reach. But say there was a purity seal underneath here, or a bit of scribe work that we wanted to do. If it's all put together, it's quite hard to get the brush in. So compartmentalizing the model, and I've just stuck it to a bit of sprue here, makes it a lot easier to hit the model where you're wanting to. So yeah, I would definitely compartmentalize it. And it's not silver, it's bolt gun metal. I like that. I've got bolt gun metal hair. So just going back now, so this is an example piece, and I don't know whether it's showing up on there. I'm trying to get it to focus.
Original, hi!
Can you guys see that okay? Hi, Original. So, Michael. You can see on there that just by using the contrast, it's quite a transparent medium to work with. It's quite see-through in terms of that, so it comes up as almost grey, quite faint, and what we're wanting is to have a nice crisp line when we're putting it down. So when it comes to holding the brush and applying the letters, what you're wanting to do is to angle the brush ever so slightly. You're looking at probably 30 degrees off center or 60 degrees from horizontal. So it's about this position that we're painting, and that allows the brush, if you see on my finger here, when it goes down, we're just wanting the tip of it on there, but it allows it to ever so slightly flex when we're putting it down. And when you're doing the letters themselves, what you're wanting to do is to follow the straight lines. So you're not wanting to apply it from directly up here or on the sides and trying to do it. We're wanting to try and get a nice thin line right the way down. So by holding the brush like you would almost a pen at like 30 degrees off center, and with that brush control, just following the lines down, you're going to be able to get thin, crisp lines. To make that slightly easier, let me show you on this bit of paper here. And I'm just going to use a bigger brush. Okay, so if we're doing Michael, we're going down. You can see I've already slightly messed up. So it's down, and then we're changing the position of our hand. I'm just going to move myself slightly around here. Obviously you want to move the model as opposed to yourself. I can't quite see. A bit more paint on there. So it's just one fluid movement down, and then changing your hand. One fluid movement down, and we're just trying to draw straight lines. So here, it's the M, the I, the K, same again, straight down, onto the brush. Obviously this isn't going to be exact, but you guys get the idea. So we're altering the brush strokes. Rather than doing this, we're doing this. So rather than coming down at an angle like this, what you're going to end up happening is it's going to be a thick line as opposed to a thin line. You want the line as thin as possible, so that's why you're wanting to follow the line with the paintbrush. There we go, like so. And this is why I choose letters that have straight lines in them. I was afraid you wouldn't like them after I heard about your previous experience.
Talking about my portrait?
Yeah.
So I've got a heavy book on them at the moment downstairs.
To flatten them down, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to get some lovely picture frames and hang them up.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, that's what we want. So, yeah, when it comes to letter compositions, the hardest letters to do are those with curves in them. So there are 3 of the hardest letters to do when doing scribe work, and these are the ones that you want to stay away from. So the first is S, and if you're going to attempt an S, you need to have the brush at 90 degrees, and it's just ever so slightly applying the brush to it, and you might need to take a couple of passes here to get this right. So it's at 90 degrees, and we're just using the tip. And this is how you would do the S. You're going 2 curves, 1 and then 2. The second hardest one is B in terms of the spacing of the 2 curves. So you want to draw your line down, and then starting from the middle, you work your way up to the top. That's 1 and 2. And obviously this works for, this hasn't got a very good point on it, this brush. But this works for P's, B's, and R's.
Yes, Big Mac, just the tip.
Yo, Big Mac, wagwan. So the last hardest one is R. So it's the same again. You're coming straight down, and then from the middle up to the top. And this leaves enough space between the top and the bottom of the letters. And then it's that line there, and that line there is the hardest bit to get out of an R. So you can either do a straight down there, or you're doing your line, then from the middle around, and then you could maybe do a curve down for the R. It's entirely up to you how you want to do that. But S's, B's, and R's are the hardest letters to do when it comes to scribe work because of those curves and the circular motions. Things like C's and D's aren't too bad because, yet again, with any curves, you just want to hold your brush at 90 degrees and you're following it round. But C's aren't too bad, O's, that sort of thing. It just comes down to the spacing between the letters themselves. So when you're trying to do this, you want to plan your letters out. So if this is the scribe here, the bit of scroll that we're working from, visually in your head, you want to divvy up where that's going. So let's have, not Bob, but let's have like a 5-letter name. Give me a 5-letter name that we're going to work with here. Just going to do the outline here. Bobby. Not Bobby. Give me something else. Give me like a Roman or a Greek name. Sammy. Really, guys? Is this just because I told you about which are the hardest letters to do? Okay, no. One last one. Give me something decent. Yeah, that is a bad name. It's got the S's and the M's in there. We want something fairly easy. Icarus. Like it. Okay, so 6 letters long. So if we've got the scribe planned out here, then what we're going to do is we're going to, or Hermes. Let's go with Icarus. Icarus is fine. Keith. Oh, do you know what? Keith. We're going to go with Keith. I like Keith. Okay, so we're going to, in our heads on the model, divvy this up. Here we go. So we're looking at our first letter going here, and then there's 2 on either side. So this is how you need to look at it visually as opposed to writing a name out. So the middle letter on Keith is obviously the I. And then either side of that, we've got the E and the H. So we're going to work in capitals as opposed to lowercase. So we've got our E here and our T. And then you've got the K and the H. Okay, so what we're going to do is my lieutenant, in honour of Keith, is not going to be called Mika. He's going to be called Keith. Gryffindor all the way. Oh my god.
Mrs. Ritz took 50 points from Hufflepuff. Nobody wants to be a Hufflepuff.
Nobody wants to be Hufflepuff. Okay, so I'm just going to reblock this back out again, and then we're going to do this properly.
So Venom says, so the other day I got stuck to my computer chair only to realise I had left a bottle of super glue on the chair. Took 10 minutes to free myself.
No.
Well done, Venom.
Venom, on a scale of 1 to 10, that's a 10 for stupidity right there. You go, my man. That's awesome. Right, we're going to have one more. Just need to get a bit more paint on this, so we can see that. Okay, perfect. So now ink composition, right? Paint composition when it comes to this. Whilst that's drying, we're just going to move that to one side. So what I do, as I said, with pure contrast paint, it tends to be a little thin on the transparency, so it doesn't. You can still see the lighter shade of the bone coming through, and that ends up meaning that the letters aren't as strong. If you use, and I'm not going to on this, but if you use pure Chaos Black, Abaddon Black, what ends up happening is it's too thick, and the normal layer paint, it tends to be kind of in the middle ground, but doesn't flow as well. So you want a mixture of the Abaddon Black and also the Contrast Templar as well here. So we're going to go for a 50-50 mix of the pair of them. I realise this light's shining up a little bit at it, but you'll just have to put up with it, I'm afraid. So, nice clean brush. Harry Potter is basically Gryffindor versus Slytherin, where the players change teams constantly. Sounds about right. Right, and then a decent amount of the contrast. And then we're just going to slowly mix these two in together. And this will give us the right level of contrast with the ability for the paint to easily flow, but not flow too much that it's going to warp. It's just going to be just right. So 50-50 mix between one and the other. Clean your brush out, get a decent point on there. And then here we go. So we're planning this out. We've got the eye in the middle, so we're going to line that up with the center of the skull. We're just going to do one stroke directly down, like so. And then we're going to do the E and the T. So yet again, with the T, one stroke directly down.
Original says, can you lower the brightness a tad? Can't see Keith's name unless you put it in shadow.
Yes, certainly.
You get rid of your overhead lamp.
Let me just bring this down.
The Keith on the piece of paper, you can't see it on the camera unless it's in shadow.
There we go. So that's that might be a little bit too far down. Let's bring the brightness back up on that. There we go, we can see it a bit better now. So I've got to work a little bit quickly with this paint because I don't want it drying out on us. So we've got the Just going to add a little bit of water on there. So we've got the T done. Onto the E. Same again. One line straight down. Now we're going to plot the middle one out of the E, middle strand, and then the two on either side. That's messed up slightly. Just rub that off before it dries. I'm going to have to get my concentrating face on here, so apologies.
Yes, original. I got the Game of Thrones reference. Shame. Shame.
There we go. Okay, onto the K and the H now. So now we've got this plotted out, we can just alter the size or the width of the letters to fully incorporate this scroll. Apologies guys, concentrating, can't talk.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well, Keith. My mum used to tell me off when I was little that I used to say H, and it's H.
There we go, I'm just going to flick this light back
It's
on again.
a little bit like cutlery.
Okay, that just looks a mess from here. It does. Why is that looking a mess? I'll tell you why that's looking a mess. Sorry guys, I'm just going to need this light on for a second because apparently my eyes are going a bit squiffy. There we go. Right, so if you do make mistakes on here, then what you can go ahead and do is using the bone colour that we're using for the scrolls, is to go back onto this and just almost patch in the details. So if you've spilt any or it's bled over, you can very carefully go back in, touch up any areas that that's happened to, and then almost do it again. But obviously you've got to be careful because the more you do this, the more mistakes you're going to make in the long run. So it's a balancing act between trying to get it right first time and being happy with it not being 100% perfect. You guys can hear me holding my breath as I'm doing this. My God.
Ryan says, I'm so happy I'm not doing Space Marines because I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
And I've just said it wouldn't be a very good time to tickle you.
No, I would probably elbow her in the face if that happened. Just out of instinct. Not because I'm a wife beater. Right.
He's not. I'll go on public record.
Thank you, wife. So the K is the last bit we need to do. There we go. I'm happy with that. So let's turn that down. Get this as close to the camera as possible. Keith. Cool. It looks a lot better. It's not going to focus and pick it up on that with the light on. But there we go. So, maybe like that. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Right. So that's with those two. But what I do for mine is use this distressed ink because it's a lot richer. It's ink. It's like a dark browny black, and it's a lot. I find it's a lot better for doing this sort of work because it's just it goes on a lot thinner. It's what I used for the Necron and also for Secret's commission piece, the pro painted Captain. So I just use a little bit. It comes in a dropper top. I just use a little bit on there. And this is what we're going to use. Here we go. You can see that. Yep. This is what we're going to use for this scroll work here. So let's pick a different name. What did we have?
Icarus.
Icarus. So 6 letters. Icarus. Yeah, something like that. Okay. So yeah, again, we're going to plan this out. So we got the A and the R together. So we're going to do the one side of the A first. You can already see how much thinner I'm able to paint with this. The A and the R. So this is why I would recommend doing inks for scroll work. A and the R. Second part of the A.
I'm assuming Mr. Frog will be posting close-up pictures of this.
Yeah, I'll be
can't really see.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll be posting close-up images to Instagram after we've finished. So here we go, the R. So I'm holding the brush at 90 degrees for this curve. I'm going from the middle and then working out to the end. And then I'm just going to do the lower part of the R. Now the U. So 2 straight lines followed by a curve.
So Hunter says, do I get the rank of master if Warhammer community follows me, or am I just in the council?
I have no idea, my good man. I think you have to become a Patreon to be a master. So that's the
C. Does
C.
that mean I'm a master then?
Yep.
What did you say on our wedding
That's
day?
the I. Concentrating.
Concentrate.
Now the S. So the S is the hardest one to do. So with this now, we're going to do 2 curves, starting in the center. So starting in the center, and we're going to do the first one, and then come back, and then do the second one. So brush at 90 degrees. 1, 2. Now that's not exact, but it's a pretty damn good representation. So you can go back in and fill these out if you want to. You can add your flicks and flares. So what I'm doing here is just going in and adding extra kind of lines in there to flesh these letters out.
Can I ask a question, please, Mr. Frog?
Yes, certainly.
Wouldn't it be easier to do this with a pen?
Yes. I have pens. I'll show you those in a second, guys. Good question. There we go. Right, Icarus, and we're going to get some close-up photos. In fact, I wonder whether this camera here will do. It's not going to do close-ups, is it? Maybe if I rotate that, it's not going to be high enough quality. Yeah, it's not high enough resolution to show you. Okay, never mind. So that's it. It's about hitting it right and using, as I said, this is a 000 brush, and I use inks. And with the inks, you're able to scribe the same as you would do with a calligraphy pen. Would pens be good for diamond patterns? Yes and no. So I'll cover pens. Where are they? Right, this is a uni pen fine line. And the tip on this is 3. It's bloody tiny, is what it is, and it's a graphics pen. Now the problem with these is that the ink doesn't flow that well out of the pen for what you need. So I'm going to show you on here. So it's quite faint in terms of the lines, and you can do it. Okay, you just need to keep kind of going over it. But the problem with keeping on going over it is putting the pen in exactly the same place is really difficult.
Hi, Gigio.
Gigio, welcome in. So using a pen on these purity seals, you can get a really nice like faint line effect. But as I said, the problem is that in order to kind of get more ink on, you have to press down harder. And by pressing down harder on the model, you run the risk of scratching the paint off. So it does work, right? As you can see here. So it does work. I'm not going to say it doesn't work, right? But there's a time and a place for it. So you can get these pens if you want, and you can try them out. Oops, that hasn't got the top. So these are by Uniball. They're called Unipins or Unipens.
Original says Rapidograph. I'm saying that right?
Yeah, Rapidograph. Yes, yeah. So any form of graphics fine pen. So as I said, this is a a 003. You can get 001s, which are even smaller, and 005s, which are slightly thicker. The 005s are going to be too thick. 001s are okay. I think you get a pack of 3 of these with the 001, 002, 001, 003, and 005 in there. A pack of 3 of them costs about £5, £5, up to about £10, £10, around there. It's less than £10 or £10, really. I used to use these before I got better brush control, so you can definitely try using them. But as I said, the ink runs the risk of not flowing through onto the model or rubbing off. So it's not 100% guaranteed with these. And then once they're on the model as well, if you're playing with the model, the ink tends to rub off. So you'd need to varnish after you've done that. It's much better to practice with a paintbrush and with ink, and just practice to get those your brush control down. It's going to help a hell of a lot. Right, so that brings me on to how to do purity seals and purity seal labels, right? So let's see. So we've got a bit of space here. Do I have like a felt tip pen or something that I can use instead? Let's have a look, see. Because you guys are struggling to see that. Okay, there we go. Right. Perfect. Okay, so here we go. This is our scroll here. Now, normally, let's divide this up into three, and I'm going to show you three different. So the easiest, step one, this one can be step one, this can be step two, this can be step three. Step one is the easy way, and step one is the easy way, which is what you saw me do, which is just to do lines to represent the scroll work. Okay, this takes no time at all, and if you're holding the brush perpendicular to the scroll, you're going to get nice straight horizontal lines going from top to bottom like this. Bam, done. That's step one. Doesn't look that realistic. So step two, obviously lines, you don't have full bodies of text like that. So step two is to take your brush off, almost like Morse code. Okay, so you're going to take your brush off and on and off and on. So it's like dash dot, dash dot, dash dot, right? And then change it up, dot dash, dot dash, dot. Yep. Dash, 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 dots, dot dash, 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 dash dot, dash dot, dash dot, right? Like this. Bam, bam, bam. Right? And that looks more like words on a page. The next step up from that, if you increase these and just have 2 or 3 lines on there rather than having dash dot, you're going to get a happy medium between the two. Okay, so we're going to do like one long line and then a smaller line and a smaller line, and then we're going to do a smaller line and then like a longer line. Here we go, and we're just going to divvy these out. You don't want 2 spaces next to each other. You want to kind of just alter these out. And this is going to look like breaks in the text. Let's have one long line, okay? One space in the center. I'm just going to have a little dot and then there. Okay, so this one looks more like writing on a page than the other ones do. We can go one step further than this. So when you're writing, it's not just one long line of text. You have like, you know, the T's that come up and the G's and the Y's that come down below the line of text. So what you can do is then go back in and put in like little uppy bits and downy bits on there. Yeah, a couple of uppy bits there, downy bit. You don't need loads of these. You just need a few. And this is going to break the model up, break the text up and make it look a little bit more realistic, like it is actually text. Okay, so this is the one that we're going to do. As I said, I'm going to do this with pen and ink. Look at the mess we've made all over this. Okay, so on, let's see if we've got some space somewhere. I've done both of these with the ink thingy. Never mind. Okay, so let's do this one here. So we're going to do like dash dot dash dot. Sorry, like a couple of dashes. So we're going to do the lines with the breaks in them. Yet again, got to concentrate. Always hold my breath for this. Need a really sharp point on there. Sorry guys, I will look back at the messages on here. I'm just concentrating at the moment. Okay. I'm having trouble because I've got the pen underneath that. Okay. Right. And then we're going to flip the model to 90 degrees, and then I'm just putting in small indents on these, on the lines. There we go. Once again, I will post up close of these, but you can see on the left hand side that's just with the pen doing lines, and then on the right hand side here I've got the little up and downy bits representing like T's and H's and Y's and G's. So that's the scroll work done. There are kind of this. Well, the only other steps that you could add on here is things like shading, which is what I'm doing here. But other than that, in terms of the letter work, we've covered pretty much everything. So we've covered scroll work here with the letters. Yep, and then we've also covered the purity seals and how to do the writing and stuff on there. That is the whole shebang. Those are all of my secret tips and tricks. So just to kind of go through and recap for us, for those that join late, when you're doing straight lines on scroll work, you need to have the brush at 30 degrees, coming down straight lines. So that M, yep, the I, the K, S's and B's, you need to be holding it 90 degrees like this, coming round. With stuff like B's and R's, you need to start, and E's as well, you need to start from the middle and then come up to the ends so that you've got the spacing right. Same with the R, you're going to do the straight line and then come up from the middle to do the top part of the R, and then you can do your straight line down. So that's with the brushes and the brush position, really important, and it's really important to alter the model as you're doing this to make sure that you're able to, do straight lines down, and when you're doing that, you've got as much control over the brush as possible. So that's really important in terms of brush control. In terms of paints, if you're going to use normal Games Workshop paints and that sort of thing, then you want to be mixing contrast with the base paint to get the right level of saturation on the black. So you're wanting a black as opposed to a transparent black, which is what the inks or the contrast paints are. They're more transparent, so you're wanting as dark a colour as possible. As I said, I personally use inks, in particular that distressed ink. Don't worry if you can't get it. If you get black or a brown ink, it's going to work the same. As I said, this is a happy medium between the black and the brown, so it gives kind of like a distressed look. So that's important for me when doing this, but if you've just got a black ink, that's okay. So inks is what I use for this, and then a really small size 000 brush to then go through. In terms of the purity seal scroll writing, this is the easiest one by far, which is just going horizontal lines straight down. If you want it to look a little bit more realistic, then you can do like the dash dot thing. If you're wanting to go one stage further, you can then start going in and adding these up and down vertical lines to represent like T's and H's and Y's and G's and that sort of thing. But it requires a lot of brush control, because if you slip or anything, then you're going to wreck the linear work that you've done before. So generally speaking, 9 times out of 10, unless it's a character model, I will either just be doing the lines or the dash dot. So those are all of my hacks, hints, tips, tricks in terms of doing this scroll work. Oh, the other thing obviously is when you're doing the letters, to plan it out from middle to the end so that you get the spacing right, rather than starting off on the left hand side or the right hand side and then running out of space. So always start from the middle and then plan it out, write it out if you need to. So that is my scroll and purity seal tutorial. Have you guys got any questions or queries? We've still got about 5 or 10 minutes before that hour's up, so I'm more than happy to sit here and chill with the rest of you guys.
Hunter wants to know, have you seen his Night Elf Commander?
I haven't. I've been super busy today doing a green stuff hair and beards tutorial, which will be up on YouTube hopefully by the end of the evening. So I haven't, I'm afraid. I will try and track it out for you, though. I can now like and comment.
Ryan said, this is such a random question, but do you think the Imperium have Gmail?
No. They have astropaths. They use telekinesis. So the astropaths send messages from one place to the other. They don't need internet. They've got psychics. That's my opinion anyway. So has anybody got any questions in regards to all that? I think I ran through it in quite a bit of detail for us, but I mean, if you guys have got any questions or anything, by all means, let me know. Let's just move this down so you can see it. Oh, right, gotcha, Hunter. No problems at all, Keith. So, Keith, my lieutenant will be forever known as Keith from now on. In fact, whilst we're at it, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint over that one and actually scribe it in ink for us.
Original says having trouble thinning paint. Any tips?
What are you having trouble with, Original? What is it specifically that you're having trouble with when it comes to thinning them? Can you kind of expand on that? And which paints is it that you're having trouble with?
Yeah, Ryan, he does pull some funny faces, doesn't he?
Not me.
Too watery or too thick, Army Painter?
Right. So with Army Painter, when it comes to they're really, yeah, they can go one way or the other in terms of Army Painter. Let me just grab.
It says metallics.
Okay. I don't have any metallics to hand there in my other case. With Army Painter themselves, it wouldn't be a tutorial if I didn't spill paint everywhere. Bugger. Can you go and grab a tissue, please? Let's just pop that to one side. Well, that'll be me needing some more Jacobone then. With the metallics, you don't want to use water to water it down because of the mica pigments for the glint. You don't want to be using water to water it down. If you're going to be watering down the metallics, then use medium for it. So if you're needing to thin the paints down by any consistency, use use medium and just a bit of it, and just keep on adding it back and forth. Can you go and get me a tissue? Guys, 2 seconds. Sorry about that. The door is obviously there, and Mrs. Frog doesn't want to be on camera. So, kudoki. So, yeah. So use medium. If it's too thin, don't worry about it. Just put a couple of thin coats. There's nothing you can do about thin paint and thickening it up without wrecking it. So just use 2 thin coats. Other than that, thinning them. Use medium. And then just apply extra coats. Perfect. Right. Anybody got any other questions? They can be as random as you like. If not, I've got an announcement to make as well. Going once, going twice, no worries. Right, okay, so I've got a big announcement that I'm going to be announcing. I've been in chats with a company called Warlord Games. So for those of you who don't know, obviously you've got Games Workshop who supply these models, and then there are other suppliers as well. Warlord Games do a wide variety of different systems. They're most well known for their Second World War stuff in and around bolt action. They also do like 2000 AD. They do Blood Red Skies, which is like an airplane fighting game. They do battleships as well. there's over 13, 14 different game systems that they do. So with regards to them, I've been in chats with them over the past week, and I have been accepted to be a friend of Warlord Games, which means I'm going to start producing content around their products. So as of next week, I'm going to start doing Warlord Wednesdays, and I'm going to be collecting a British army, British World War II army. Now, this is going to take place over 8 weeks, and I'm going to be filming my progress, and then this is going to be made into videos, which are then going to be uploaded. And then we're going to be doing on Wednesday evenings. This time, we're going to be focusing on this this particular army, this bolt action UK army. After that 8 weeks, I'm actually going to be raffling the army off, the whole army, for free, for charity. So it's going to be for the Royal British Legion, who in the UK are the ones who look after all of the servicemen and women and their families, providing emotional and financial support for service men and women right the way throughout, whether they served last year, this year, 50 years ago, it doesn't matter. The Royal British Legion are always there. I'm a massive supporter of our armed forces, and so this is my way of being able to give back. So I'm going to be creating this big army over the next couple of months in collaboration with Warlord Games, and then at the end of it, we're going to be raffling it off for charity. So expect to see a lot more content in and around Warlord Games, and also in regards to kind of traffic coming through and people hanging out within the channel. The traffic's going to increase loads. So it's something that both myself and Warlord Games will be publicising. It's going to be all over social media, both on their website and on my YouTube as well. At the end of that 8 weeks, obviously you guys will have seen the journey from start to finish, and then it'll get raffled off. So I have a Just Giving page, which I've just set up. I'm going to be getting the models later on this week, and we're going to start the filming process from that point. It's really big news. So I'm really excited. I'm super excited, even though I don't seem like I get that excited, in comparison to other people. I am really excited in terms of this. So it's very big for me. So I'll be working through that. You guys can follow all of the progress. I will start to publicize the Just Giving page. So if you guys want to donate that, I'm going to start leaving links in the description as soon as I've picked up all the models. But obviously, you guys are Frog fans, so I wanted you guys to hear this news first. So on Thursday, I'm going over to Warlord HQ to pick the models up, and then we're going to start painting them and building them over the weekend together. You're going to see me paint them over the next couple of months. I'll play a game or two with them up at Warlord HQ. So all of this is going to be videoed and documented, and then from there on out, it will get raffled off for charity. So you stand a very good chance of winning it if you donate, and I'll leave the donation description and link, not in this video, but we're going to cover it next week when I do my first official Warlord Wednesday. So yeah, that's my big news, guys.
Whoop, whoop.
Thank you so much in the chat. Wow, that's great. Hey, Mystic Trooper, let's go Britain. Right on, congrats. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you. It's been an absolutely amazing journey, and this is just the start. So for me, I've got so many more ideas of where I want this channel to go and where I want to go with you guys. I'm never going to kind of move away from what we're doing here. So we're still going to be doing the hobby tutorials. Yep. We're still going to be covering kind of Warhammer and 40k and that sort of thing. But what I want to do is to broaden my horizons and really bring as many people from different communities, hobby communities together. I mean, just in the chat right now, we've got, I'm covering that. We've got, AOS and Warhammer. We've got Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to be going on to Bolt Action. There's stuff like Doctor Who. There's 2000 AD. There's so many different gaming systems. Board games as well. Like we haven't covered half of the stuff. But ultimately, it comes down to whichever game system we're doing. It comes down to painting models and the skills that you need in order to paint the models, which is what I do and why you guys are here. I don't want to alter that. I don't want to change that. So we're still going to be looking at how to get the most out of our models in the shortest amount of time possible. I don't want you guys spending months doing, one particular thing. I want to give you quick hacks, hints, tips, and tricks to be able to get the most out of these. So that's what we're going to be doing. But we are going to be covering different game systems, and I'm just so blessed to be able to have you guys along for that ride. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Right. Anybody got any other kind of questions or queries in regards to all that? Who's party at my place? Thank you very much, Chris.
Keith says, others could learn from your sense of humility. Thanks for being an example.
Oh, bless you, man. Not a problem.
Mrs. Rick says, truth, Keith.
It's not humility, though. I am happiest when I'm happy. I'm happiest when I'm helping other people. So the more people that I can help, Phoebe off Friends said it best when she said there is no such thing as a selfless act. Yeah. So me painting these and then giving them away, I still get a sense of happiness out of that. So it's not a completely selfless act for me.
We covered that in uni. The whole thing in psychology. No such thing as a selfless good deed.
It's true. So yeah, and I'm blessed to be able to have you guys along for the ride as well. I would literally just be talking to a camera if you guys weren't here. So
hi, Stephen.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Welcome in. Not a problem at all. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me on this. It's amazing the support that we've got. I mean, you consider that this YouTube channel has been going a month now, and in terms of the streams, we've been going. On Instagram, we've been going for about 2 months, and we have 20 plus regular viewers, whether they pop in every other day or once every 3 days or once a week, or like you guys who pop in every single day. That is just fantastic. That kind of, it makes my heart happy, man. So thank you so much, each and every one of you. I know each and every one of you by name. I know what you're doing. I know what you're up to, and that's great. The fact that we can, continue this journey on. So yeah, thank you one and all. I'm gonna call it there. I think if nobody else has got any other kind of questions or queries, and we'll rock on. Obviously, you can catch up on this. I'm going to post up close-up images of the scroll work on Instagram so that you guys can see that straight after this, and then this video will be uploaded for those of you who came in late, so you can see how we've covered the scroll work and how we've covered the work on the purity seals as well. So yeah, most definitely. Tomorrow we've got Mrs. Frog doing her intros, her beginners days.
What am I doing?
What is she doing? That's a very good question.
What do you guys want me to do that Mr. Frog might have in a box under the bed?
I have lots of things in a box under the bed. Toys, though. Warhammer toys, not other toys, before NDH gets on the case.
How best to paint a rabbit?
No, so we'll discuss it in the Patreon chat as to exactly what Mrs. Frog's up to. Obviously, links in the description, etc., etc. If you guys are just here supporting, that's fantastic for me. If you want to do the Patreon thing, then that's awesome as well. Ryan says that you're going to be painting your demonettes.
Oh, done demons on stream then.
That's okay. You did them you did one within an hour, and you wanted to do pro painting, so we'll put them together, and then Mrs. Frog is going to attempt to pro paint, including blending, highlighting, edge highlighting, washes and glazes, and anything else that we can throw at her. So expect to see Mrs. Frog pulling her hair out. Are you going to paint your nails for this one as well? Now we're back on Instagram.
I've not really got many nails left to chop them off to write my essay because I couldn't type.
Oh, bless us. Oh, that giggle. That was a sardonic laugh. Mr. Frog drops mic. Hell yes. So, boys and girls, thank you so much once again for chilling out and hanging out with me and Mrs. Frog. It's absolutely amazing. We're going to crack on with Mrs. Frog's Demonettes tomorrow. Wednesday is not going to be a Warlord Wednesday. We're going to start that the week afterwards. So it's going to be an Ask Me Anything. We've got the Ask Me Anything on Thursday as well. And then don't forget stippling and feathering. Oh my God, you guys are meanies. But yeah, we can cover that as well. And then Friday, you guys suggested that we do the D20 paint scheme of pain for me. So we've got a lot of different paints, rolling a D20 to find out what the colour scheme is going to be. So that's for F About Friday. F About Friday will be on Instagram, so we have more we have more free space to be able to play normal music. Yeah, so everything's on there. Guys, thank you so much for chilling out with us, and we shall see you again. Same frog time, same frog place. Guys, thank you very much.
See you tomorrow.
Take care, boys and girls.
Bye.
Bye for now.